Hey friend, welcome to my channel. I'm Erin, a military spouse and teacher turned photographer, and in this series I am highlighting fellow members of the Photographers Changing Stations community. And I'm joined today by my friend Melissa Driggers, who is a portrait photographer based currently in Virginia. And I'm super excited to chat with her. Melissa, welcome. Thanks for making time for this today.
Hi, Erin. Thanks for having me.
I have gotten to know you pretty well over the last year through our Business Builders community, but I would love for you to start by just introducing yourself to everyone who's listening. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're stationed, where you're from, what kind of business you run, those kind of things.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I own Melissa Driggers Photography. I live in Northern Virginia and serve the Northern Virginia area. Um, I started my business in 2017 while we were stationed in Germany. We've been in Northern Virginia now since 2019. I guess technically I came back end of 2018.
Okay.
I did not restart my business here until the end of 2019. Um, I do primarily maternity, newborn, and family.
Awesome. Very exciting. Um, I'm interested to hear the dates that you talk about. You you haven't moved a lot like most other military families do. And so to me, that idea of like, oh my gosh, you've been there since 2018, 2019, like you're going on 6, 7 years. Like that feels like an
Yeah.
eternity to me. So talk
Yeah.
to me a little bit about how it's been to run a business in a place that you are not leaving.
Well, honestly, I've been really lucky and grateful. I mean, starting my business overseas, stationed in Germany was kind of crazy looking
I
back
can
on it.
imagine.
I had no idea honestly what I was doing. It was always the plan, when my daughter was born and I started to get back into photography in about 2015, that I wanted to start a business. And so when we moved to Germany, that was kind of the idea. Well, hey, like, can I do this overseas? Like, I knew that there were a lot of photographers that had started a business overseas through, the military channels.
Hmm.
And so we got there in July, and around September, we were trying to get my daughter into the local German kindergarten. And a lot of the villages in Germany do allow American kids to attend.
Okay.
Uh, But the village that we were in, unfortunately, didn't have, I guess it was too small that it didn't have spots for American kids.
Gotcha.
Um, but since I was planning on starting my business, I kind of brought it up like, hey, what if I'm paying into the German tax system? Like, does that open a spot for her?
Mm.
And so that was kind of how that kind of like we flew under the radar a little bit because that's how we got her into the German kindergarten was like, okay, well, I
Interesting.
guess I guess I'm starting my business a little quicker than I
Ready or
anticipated just to get
not.
her get her into the German
Oh, that's
kindergarten
crazy.
because I'm German and my mom is German, and so it was very important for us to have her in the German kindergarten so that she could kind of learn the language
Sure.
in a much more immersive way.
Hmm.
Um, than being in a military preschool.
I gotcha.
Um, and so yeah, that was how that started.
Wow.
Um,
Okay. That's cool.
yeah, it was kind of crazy. Um, but then unfortunately, my dad was diagnosed with cancer in 2018, and so through the help of the Air Force, um, we were able to get a humanitarian and we're stationed back home. Northern
Okay.
Virginia is home for us.
Okay.
Um, and so they moved us home at the end of 2018. And because he was sick and in hospice care, I had decided to take a break from my business. And it wasn't until probably over the summer of 2019 where I really started to get that itch to
Mm.
start my business again, And
Yeah.
so I'd been doing a lot of research, sitting with my dad, into LLCs and all the legal stuff, the
Sure.
stuff that nobody really
Not the fun
enjoys
part.
hearing about. Exactly, not the fun part of business.
Yeah.
Um, And so I got that itch and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And so I started my business in Northern Virginia in 2019, August, I want to say it was.
Okay.
And so it was really nice because I was able to register for all of my business licenses and everything. And I was able to share that with my dad before he passed in October.
Oh,
Um,
that's
so that
beautiful.
was, yeah, so that was really special to me. And I called it a soft opening.
Sure.
Um, I booked, I don't know, a handful of clients, and I was very open with them about what was going on. And
Yeah.
my dad ended up passing before any of the sessions actually happened.
Okay.
And I remember the first session that was supposed to happen after he passed was literally like a week later. And so
Oh,
um, the clients were amazing and they offered to reschedule and I was like, no, you know what, I need this. And
yeah.
so that was how things got restarted here in Northern Virginia.
Sure. What a
So that
gift
was
to
kind
have clients that, you could kind of bring into what's actually happening in life and
yes.
have people that
Yeah,
are there
for
to
sure.
understand and support you and all of that.
And so we've been here ever since.
Yeah.
There was a point in time where we weren't sure if the humanitarian was going to essentially end and they were going to move us again.
Sure.
Um, but with the help of, my husband's bosses, they helped essentially secure us here for a while.
Okay.
And then my husband switched from Air Force to Space Force, which essentially restarted our
Ah, that
time
resets
here.
your clock. Yep.
And so now retirement is right around the corner in July. So we're not
Yeah.
going anywhere.
That's wild. I'm sure it probably
Yeah,
feels a bit surreal.
it is. It is very, very surreal.
Yeah.
And
So,
he's supposed to start Skillbridge in January, and so that
okay. Well,
feels even
that's
crazier.
coming up fast.
It is.
Oh my goodness. My experience being in Northern Virginia, I'm bummed that we never like got to meet in person while I was
I
there.
know.
Feels like we connected right at the end there. But my experience was working with a lot of military families, just because there's so many of us in that area. Do you find that as well as a lot of your client base military?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, there are definitely some and some that are a little bit more military or government connected, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like a lot of my clients are
Okay.
military families.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there's obviously a lot of civilian families there as well. It's not like that's
Yeah.
the only community that's out there, but that's so opposite from my experience. That's interesting. Um,
Yeah.
do you feel like it's been weird, like being a military family who doesn't really move? Like, has that made you feel disconnected from that community? Like, I wonder if there's a like parallel there almost with you not working with a lot of
Yes.
military families because it might feel like you're on the outskirts. I don't know. Am I putting words in your mouth?
Yeah. Yes, no, that it makes total sense and it's so true because this is home for us.
Yeah.
In previous years, I mean, we've been a military family now for 18 years.
Yeah.
Not well, I've been a military spouse for 18 years. Let me put it that
Okay.
way. He was in the service
Sure.
before, not for very long, but um so we always had to create our own village everywhere we went, and that's the military life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what so many people are used to. And so now that we've been here and we're back home, like we didn't have to create a village here. Like our village was already here.
Yeah.
I'm in Burke. My mom still lives in Manassas. My husband's family is in the Winchester area and down in Fredericksburg. So, I mean, we are a little spread out, but this is still home. And
Yeah.
it's completely changed the way we view being here, I think.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, don't get me wrong, we still participate in, a lot of work functions and stuff, but I feel like the village aspect of that has definitely changed because we didn't need to create one here.
Sure.
Where in the past, especially in Germany, we needed that,
Yeah.
you know. So that's been really different, but it's been, I think, a really nice transition for us because we're kind of like we're getting the slow transition into civilian life.
Totally. Yeah, that makes total sense.
It's not going to be, I don't think, such a culture shock, or maybe not a culture shock, but it's not going to be such a shock on the system to go from military to not military.
Yeah.
Um, because we've kind of had this weird in between phase right now where we are still in the military, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully that is a good thing for your transition out. Just
I hope
having it
so.
be like sort of like this more long drawn out thing. Like maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, having it not be a shock to the system sounds kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's
I
awesome.
don't want a
What,
shock to the system.
yeah, you're like, I don't need that. Okay. We've been through enough.
Yes.
What would you say to someone who's like getting the opportunity to put roots down somewhere and create a community around their business that doesn't feel like you're going to have to pick up and leave? Like for me, for example, I'm moving somewhere for about 4 years, which feels like
Mhm.
forever for us. And it could be our last stop. So I don't know. I've been wrestling with a lot of big questions lately of like sort of pressure to do it right because, you finally get the chance to do that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Do you have any advice for someone in that position?
I think, and you and I have kind of gone through this a lot together already, building that authenticity of who you are within your business, that's something that I think we've put a lot of, or I know I have put a lot of
Yeah.
effort into really showing up as myself in my business this year. Um, and being true to myself and showing more of myself and putting myself out there, so that people really get to know who I am, because there is no Melissa Driggers photography without me.
Yeah.
And so crossing those boundaries of personal and business, they are the same. I am the same,
Yeah.
and so I have noticed a shift in my clientele since I've been here and since I've kind of shown more of who I am. I noticed that a lot of my clients are fellow readers.
Sure.
Um, and I even recently booked a client who really connected with my about page, which is something that I worked really hard on a few months ago to really represent myself a lot
Yeah.
better. Um, and so within the booking process, like, we were going back and forth between photography and books. It was like this interesting conversation, like, we're talking about the session, but let's talk about books, and talking about the sessions, talking about the books. And
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, and I feel like, people really get to know who you are, and they kind of see like a friend in you before they ever even book
Hmm.
you. Um and so I think that is really important. That authenticity really has shown me, like, that this is what people want. They want to know who
Yeah.
you are, and this client of mine, we've continued to chat about books, since the session
Sure.
has been over. Um, we even just recently started like planning a getaway for the day, just to go drive out to West Virginia, where one of our authors owns a little bookshop.
Oh,
And so we talked
fun.
about going to visit that together. And so we've been talking about that. And
Yeah.
she also recently reached out and said she wanted to start talking about a spring session. So
That's amazing. Like,
yeah, it's just, it's really special to find those people that
mhm.
get to know you, that really like you, that want to keep working with you, but also be your friend.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like the client to friend transition. I've had some stories
Yeah.
like that as well. And in my experience, too, it makes their sessions even more fun. Like, they
Mhm.
totally trust you. You feel like you're just hanging out with a friend. And so they get better pictures out of the deal, too.
Yeah.
So that's great advice. I have talked recently with a number of photographers who are feeling like they're in a new market and they're feeling like it's really saturated, and it's like, how do I get started? And I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's similar advice to what I give them. Is like, my recommendation is to not go to just Facebook groups and try to like book the one-off session that people are asking for photographers, but like start in your circles and see, you
Yeah.
know, I have this connection with this person, maybe we can do a shoot together, and then treat them really well, and then the word of mouth kind
Mm-hmm.
of takes off from there. But you have a great point about, having that on your website too, is like, even if someone finds you through Google, like reading through your website, it's no lie or no secret that you love to read. And so that's like a great connection point for you, for example, that you don't have to start with a close friend. But yeah, just like really leaning into who you are and trying to build your tribe from there. I feel like that really quiets the competition, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many photographers here. Like, how will I ever find someone to book me? It's like, you're going to book the people who just mesh well with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that it's been a good experience for you in that regard. And how exciting that you're coming up on retirement and you don't have to start thinking about shifting to a new client base as well. You get to keep hanging out with those people.
Yes, I'm very
So,
excited about that.
yeah.
Very grateful for the families who've stuck with me, for 4+ years now,
Yeah.
and who will get the opportunity to keep to keep working with me and to keep, hanging out with me and
Yeah.
having fun with them.
That's awesome. Well, let's chat about retirement a little bit. What's that look like? I think there's a lot of us who await the day for that. And obviously you're not quite
Yeah.
there yet, but what has that transition looked like for you guys?
Um, well, so far I have not been involved in a whole lot of the
Okay.
process. My husband has done taps twice now, I think already.
Okay.
I know we attempted for me to go with him, but work,
Life.
life. So I was not able to join him for taps. You know, he's kind of relayed some of the information and I've asked some questions along the way, but
Sure.
for the most part, I think he's got everything under control, thankfully.
Great.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to being in control of our lives because
What will
we
that
were
be
20.
like?
I know. We were 20 when we got married, and so we literally went from living with our parents to being in the military,
Yeah.
and we've never been in control of our own lives before. So we're looking forward to, settling down and
Yeah.
just being in one place and knowing that that's it,
Yeah.
because I feel like so much of military life is just waiting for the next
So
thing,
true. Hmm.
and so that, and I mean, I'm waiting now for retirement, but
Yeah.
it's also important, to kind of live in the moment too. We still plan on staying in our current home
Okay.
at least another year after he retires. Um, Circling back to the whole German thing, my daughter's in a German immersion program here, and so that goes through 6th grade.
Okay.
And it was really important for me to keep her there um, as long as possible. And so we're planning on staying here. He's planning on uh, getting a contract job, government job.
Figuring
I don't
something
know.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think his hope is, SkillBridge will lead into a job
Okay.
naturally.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we'll be here in Burke, or at least in Fairfax County, for another year after he retires. And then after that, we're hoping to move out west a little bit further, settle
Ah.
down, and
How far west?
still in the state of Virginia.
Okay. Not like Colorado West. I'm like, oh, Melissa, are you coming?
No, gosh, no. No, 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 no.
Okay.
Not that far.
Yeah.
No, like I said, this is home.
Yeah.
It's gonna stay home. We want to be here. Just a little further west.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's very
Yeah,
exciting.
away from DC.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, here in Burke, we're in the suburbs, but it's still very busy.
Yeah. Very
And so we
congested.
want to get away from that. Yeah, we want to get away from that a little bit more,
Okay.
out into the
That makes
country a little
sense.
bit more.
Nice. Nice. Oh my gosh. There's so many beautiful options out that way. I'm sure you guys will find a great spot.
Mhm.
Well, one of the reasons that there was so much interest in doing this interview series is because, well, yes, we are all military spouses and photographers. We're also all so much more than that. And you've alluded to that a little bit when we talked about your about page and authenticity and things like that. But I would love to dig into that a little bit more. Obviously, you've mentioned that you love to read, but tell us a little bit about Melissa outside of Milspouse and photography life.
Well, yeah, I'm a reader. I like to say that I am deep in my romantasy era.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, it's been an interesting um transition. I don't know, for the longest time, like I loved YA. Young
Okay.
adult books. I don't know. They held my heart for a very long time. And for
Sure.
I was like one of those adults where it was like, it's okay. I don't care that I read young adult books. But that's definitely transitioned now into like the
Okay.
adult fantasy romance
Okay.
genres. I've really enjoyed those books. And oddly enough, a lot of my clients are also romantasy readers.
Love it.
So,
Could you pick a favorite, or
um,
is that a mean question to someone who loves to read so much?
um, well, that's a fair question, and it is also a difficult one. Um, I would say one of my favorites recently has been A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas.
Okay.
Um, and then another favorite, more recent, is Quicksilver,
Okay. I
by
feel like I've heard of Quicksilver. I haven't heard of the
Carrie Hart,
first one.
Callie Hart.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because today is actually the release day of the second book
Oh, fun.
in the series. So I'm very excited. I already got the audiobook.
Nice. Nice. Love it.
Because I'm weird. I'm a weird reader. I
Okay.
like to
Tell me
have
more.
there's a lot of people out there who can read several books at once, but I am book monogamous. But I like to have the physical book, the ebook, and the audiobook so that I can continue reading no matter
Okay.
what.
That's so funny.
Because
Is it
when
hard
I'm
to
alone in the
sync where
car,
you are?
um, I mean, if I can, I like to stop at chapters just to make it
Okay.
easier for me to find my place in the
Gotcha.
different mediums.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Sometimes I'll just stop in the middle of a chapter, especially like in the car listening to the audiobook.
Yeah.
I'll just
That's kind of
pause
what
it
I
and
was
then I have to
thinking.
like flip through the book and find it. But
Yeah.
it never takes me very long.
That's funny. You're
I'll
like,
like
it's
look at
worth the hassle.
it's so worth it. Because I get so much more reading done when I'm able to listen to the audiobook in the car as well.
Mm,
I feel like that speeds things up a lot for me lately
sure.
when I don't have as much time to read the physical book or the ebook. The ebook is typically like my laying in bed
Nice. Nice.
version.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's my weirdness.
Okay. I have an audiobook
I
question for you.
Yeah,
What speed do you listen to it on when you listen to it?
good question. My husband and my mother love to give me a hard time because what they hear when I am listening to an audiobook is
Yes.
because I do listen to it. I would say maybe like 1.2 to 1.4,
Okay.
depending on the narrator.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
feel
what
the
they
same
hear.
way with podcasts. I don't do a ton of audiobooks, but when I listen to podcasts, I am the same way. Like, let's cut to the chase. Like, even if when I go back and like watch the
Speed
YouTube
it
videos
up.
that I'm posting before I do it, like I have to watch it on 2 times speed. I'm like, okay, come on, let's keep this moving. So that's funny.
Yeah.
Outside of reading, any other like exciting hobbies, places you like to travel, any, I don't know, fun things to do?
Well, I'm a little obsessed with Highland cows. That's
Yes,
something else
yes.
I recently added to my about page. Highland
Okay.
cow lover. It's funny because I cannot tell you when that started or why.
They're
I
just
don't
cute, okay?
remember. I don't remember when it started. But my husband and I, when we were stationed in Germany, we were able to go to Scotland um, for, I think we were there for like 11 days.
Okay.
Um, And I don't know if the Highland Cow thing happened before or after, but I remember going there and like being obsessed and like needing to see a Highland Cow. So it had to have started before that.
Around there.
Yeah,
That's
but
funny.
I don't know what it was. I just saw one day and was like, "Oh my God." And I'm still like that. Oh my God. Yeah, so Highland cows.
And do I
I'm
remember you've
obsessed
done a
with them.
session with cows?
No, no.
Okay.
Not
You
yet.
want to do a session. It's on the dream. I feel like
Um,
we've sort of talked about this.
it's yes, it's definitely a dream and it's a dream coming true. Um, Part of my I guess my retirement gift to myself, I don't know, from him to me, I don't know. I
Cheers to
talked him
that.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My retirement gift will be a photo session with some Highland cows in May.
Amazing.
Family photos with the
I
Highland
cannot
cows.
wait to see them. You will have to come share them in our group so that we can all follow up with you on
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
And the dream is to hopefully buy some eventually if we have
Okay.
land
Yeah.
further west, but we'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
Hubby and I are dreaming big for our future. We'll see
Love that.
what happens, what comes of that.
Yeah. Oh, so exciting. Lots of excitement ahead for you guys. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I love to wrap up these calls with the same question for everybody. And I feel like this could be a particularly interesting one for you since you have not moved around a ton. If you guys could have been stationed anywhere for 2 years, where would you go and why?
Well, Scotland's not an option.
You're like, could I put a base there? Because that would be great.
Yeah, no, if I could, I would say Scotland, but I mean, I actually Googled it to see if there was any like US military presence in Scotland. There is, I think, but there's no actual base. So I don't
Okay.
know. Um, I mean, honestly, because our time in Germany got cut short, I would love to go back.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've heard from a few people who have been there. It sounds like definitely a complicated place to start your business, but just so many cool travel opportunities and things to experience there. And you have family
it's
there,
amazing.
correct?
I do. My aunts and uncles live, they're all within 2 hours of Ramstein Air Base.
Okay.
And so we got to visit them while we were living there quite often. And
Yeah,
yeah, so that would be
that's
really nice
awesome.
to have that again. And
Sure. It'd be very
yeah.
fun. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you so much for making the time for this. Can you share just your socials where people can find you if they want to connect?
Yeah, sure. So my website is www.melissadriggersphotography.com and my socials are at Melissa Driggers Photography.
Love it. Nice and easy.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Melissa. Super fun to chat with you, and I look forward to continuing to connect with you in our community.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks, Melissa.
Bye.